Hello and welcome back to another episode on Life Afloat. Rather unusually today, this video starts off in my car, and the reason for that is because I am at Willowbridge Marina. I've nipped down to the shop there as I'm going to be fitting a new water pump to the boat, and I thought whilst I'm doing that it would be a good idea to get a new pre-filter as well, because they're not much money. And whilst the water's turned off and I've got pipe work disconnected and what have you, I might as well put a new filter on whilst I'm at it. And I need to get an inline fuse for the water pump. The one that's fitted at the minute hasn't got one, and there should be a 10 amp inline fuse. So I'm going to get one of those whilst I'm here as well, so that I can do a proper job fitting it. So with that said, I'm going to get out of the car, go into the shop, get what I need, and then we'll head back to the boat and we can get on with installing this water pump. Right, so just come out of the shop. Good news and bad news. Good news is we got our filter. Bad news is they didn't have any inline fuse holders, which is a shame. I've got the fuse actually on the boat. I've got a few spare fuses, but I haven't got the little blade fuse holder with the cable that actually you connect into the wiring, if that makes sense. I don't think it probably does, but I know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to have to get that and put it in at a later date, really, which isn't ideal. But I can't think of where else to go at the moment. So I think what I'll do is when I'm passing sort of Wilton Marina, I'll nip into the shop there, because it's quite a well stocked shop. It's a good one there, so they'll almost certainly have one in, and I'll just fit one then. So back at the boat now, as you can see, and what I need to do now is turn off the water supply and run the taps so that the pump that's there at the minute just sort of empties what is left in the water pipe work, and then when no more water's coming out, I can switch the water pump off and close the taps off and remove the old water pump. Right, so in this cupboard in the corner, that's the mains water tap, if you like. It's equivalent to a stopcock in a house. Just the other side of that wall is the water tank. So we'll turn this off. All the way. There we go. Oh, and now I'll run the taps. So you can hear the water pump's kicked in now, so there should obviously be no more water coming out shortly. That's the cold water. I'll do the same with the hot. Just to empty what's in the hot water tank. There we go. Back onto cold. There we go. No more coming out. So now we've got no more water coming out, I will turn off the water pump, which is that switch there. Now we've done that, we're ready to remove the old pump basically, which is located under this sort of shelf, if you like, here. This is in the bedroom area, this is the wardrobe, this is the bed. So I'll remove this and you'll see the water pump and the setup. So here's the setup at the moment. We've got the old water pump in there and the pre-filter there, as you can see. The water pump that I've got is a like-for-like replacement, so it's just a case of removing that and swapping it straight over with the new one, really. Should fit straight in without too much hassle. So what I'm going to do is disconnect it, probably from there, remove the water pump and that filter all in one, because I'm obviously replacing the filter as well. And put it all together with the new filter and the new pump, and then just get the new pump and filter installed. Right, so here's the old filter here, pump guard they're called. But as you can see, the new one is different in terms of the fittings, which I didn't realise at the time. This is fittings for a hose, whereas this is obviously the screw-on fittings. What I don't have, of course, is the adapter to put on the pipework to convert it to a hose fitting, so that I can fit the new pre-filter. So I've got spare hose and I've got tons of Jubilee clips and stuff like that, but I don't have the adapters that I need to be able to fit this. So what I've done is I've opened it up and I've taken out the actual filter element, the metal mesh inside, and put it in the old one. So effectively this is now like a new filter. It's just the housing for it, which is still the old one, but I can then fit that back and it should be as good as new. It's all clean inside, there's no blockages or anything, and the nice new mesh in there is looking quite a bit better than the old one did, so hopefully that will be fine. So here's the old water pump that I've taken out. Here's the new one, like for like replacement, as you can see. So let's get this one installed now, and hopefully that will solve my water flow / water pressure issues. So here we go, new pump's fitted, connected to the filter with the new inside bit from the new filter. So effectively it's like a new filter, so it should be fine. You see we had a bit of water come out when I disconnected it, just seeped down the side of the towel that I had there, but not too much. I have depressurized the accumulator tank because I read online when I was doing my research, when I initially had problems, that this model of pump was actually designed to work without an accumulator tank. So if you depressurize it, it's a bit like it not being in the system at all. But that didn't actually solve my issues. So I'm going to try it without any pressure in and see how we get on. I've wired it up with, these are the connectors that I keep on the boat for me wiring. So that's what I've done, just wired it up with these type of connectors. I don't have any crimps on board, but that should do the job fine. So what I need to do now is turn on the water supply. Just check for leaks as it flows through into the filter, and if that's all good, we'll turn on the water pump, let it pressurize, and see what it's like. Right, that's that back on. So we haven't had any drips from around the filter after turning the water back on, so it's time to switch the pump back on, and it should come on straight away to start repressurizing the system. There we go. Okay, so the water pump has primed the system now. It's shut itself off because it's reached the appropriate pressure. Sounds a little bit quieter than the old one, which is a good sign, I guess. It didn't seem to take as long to repressurize the system. So it's a moment of truth. Time to turn on the tap and see if it can maintain a decent flow. So it's the moment of truth then. Let's turn on the cold. There's probably a bit of air in the pipework. The water pump's kicked in straight away, which it never did with the old one. So hopefully that's a good sign. So here we have the shower on. As you can see, the water flow is being maintained really nicely, so super happy with that. So it looks like the water pump has done the trick. The tap does slow down a little bit, but it still maintains a perfectly acceptable flow of water for a boat. Certainly a million times better than it was before, because before it would just slow down to a little dribble, which was useless. So I'm really happy with the results of the new pump. If you haven't already done so, please do subscribe. Loads more boat related videos coming up in the future. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.